Welcome back to Big Brother Rewind. This is Sean,
And this is Chris.
and we're here to talk about week 6 inside the Big Brother 24 house. Kind of an uneventful week, honestly. We'll get there, but in case you don't know, we are Dad in a Rock. We cover currently Big Brother each and every week after the eviction. We also just covered The Sandman on Netflix, big after show for that, which, surprise, surprise, there's one more episode.
Yes, and I am pumped about it. And we will be covering what? We're going to do it Sunday morning. Is that right?
Yes,
Live?
Sunday morning we will cover the 11th surprise episode of
There
Sandman.
we go. That should be amazing to do that there. But we're talking about Big Brother. We're both not comfortable in our alliance here. So we're gonna stick around for you a little longer. We're not arrogant in this Big Brother rewind.
No, we're going to talk Big Brother because I know that's what you're here for. Just a quick look at who's left in this thing. Here, we'll move the duck. Well, we'll just leave the duck in front of Monty. Who cares?
So
Um,
who's the dangerous one here? Who if you're looking at it now, who wins?
Michael is if I mean Michael just needs to keep his momentum and he wins this whole damn thing. I mean, spoiler alert, he's also one of the two head of households
Yeah.
at the end of this episode, at the end of
I
this
don't think
week.
he
So
stands a snowball's chance in hell.
well, no, it's too hot. But I mean,
Yeah.
look, the thing is nobody's talking about him. Like you and I see that he's doing too well, but like you look at Monty and Joseph and stuff, they're not saying, "Hey, we need to get rid of Michael."
I think they got to keep an eye on Turner.
Yeah,
I honestly I look at Turner and I think he has a chance to win it. Him or Brittany. I
Turner's a
think those
wild
two are
card for
playing a
sure.
really smart game.
Brittany
Brittany's
actually, for her game, her style of game, which right now is just using somebody as a cover, as kind of a. I mean, let's be straight. She's in a kind of a duo with Michael, but almost as close as a showmance would be. But they don't have that hiccup. You know what I mean? Like they're
yeah.
all game, which is dangerous. But you know what? If you're going to get rid of somebody out of that duo, it would be Michael first. So
Oh,
Brittany's in a really good
absolutely.
spot.
Would she actually would it hurt her? Because they're gonna ask her, what did you do in this game? And if
Yeah.
her main accomplishment is holding on to Michael and let Michael be the fodder, the cannon fodder, and she's sitting next to, let's just say she's sitting next to a Turner, just to keep those two together. And
Right.
Turner can be like, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this. I was a part of this alliance when it started, the four guys, and we were turning the wheels. And she had nothing to go lean on.
Yeah, and Turner at least has one head of household under his belt at this point. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it really just depends on who she's sitting next to at the end and what she can pull out of it. But I mean, I would buy it. That would be a valid form of gameplay for me. But yeah, this is where we're at currently. We're see about half the board here is now black and white. We are progressing through the season of Big Brother. Big week this coming up. Hey, last week you and I at the end of the show, Julie tricked us. We thought this was the week that was going to be the double
Yeah,
week, but
that's how they built it up. This was to be the week that would be a double eviction, all that would take place. Come to find out, she catfished us. It's
she
next week.
did. Come on, Julie.
I was a little messed up, but it was a crazy week. It was an uneventful week, but I think Taylor harpooned her game.
Yeah.
I mean, she's really hit it hard. And then you have Kyle, who can't think with the proper head,
Right.
and he's harpooning his game.
I was talking about that. Me and Christina were over the week is how like Taylor maybe leaned a little too far into the holding the power this week, or she was feeling herself. And that's typically she has been. And at first it was like, all right, get your flowers, get your applause because you were down and out in this game and you bounced back and you should get applause for that. But at this point in the game, you are definitely holding some power. You're a part of this alliance that's just kind of steamrolling the house. So, just take it slower. Be easier.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Okay, well, I'm a part of this group. I'm a part of the leftovers, but I'm also not going to target the women on the other side."
Yeah.
That was all of them besides one.
Right.
So, are you a part of this alliance, or are you an unofficial part of the five swatters? You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll get there, but so that's where we left, the
That's
house
such a
guests
terrible
last week.
picture, man. We could have picked a better picture of her winning.
I mean, look, she's so full of joy. She's got a big smile on her face.
Even
This
that
is the moment she
smile is
knows she
terrifying. That
won.
picture is nightmare fuel, dude.
What? No, it's just Big Brother slop and gunk and slime.
Sure.
And hair for some reason. Look at all the
Yeah,
hair.
that was messed up. When they dumped that hair on them, when
Yeah,
they
that
were
was
all nice and
gross.
sticky already and got in their mouths and everything, yeah, that was messed up on a lot of levels.
Yeah, so Taylor won, head of household. We thought it was gonna be one of 2, but no, she was the one and only head of household for the entire week.
And I
Uh,
pretty much called that going in. I was like, you know what? I looked at my wife, was like, okay, what if two people are going to win this? And I darn near, called the final two,
yeah.
and Taylor winning it. I was like, okay, it makes sense.
Look, Brittany is not very impressed by that rubber ducky. Look at her watching it. She's like, no."
It's too
Um,
small.
the reason I bring these 2 up is that after Taylor won, these 2 were, they're constantly checking in on each other. This is the week where we're starting to see the fracturing of the
Mhm.
leftovers. I mean, we've
It's
seen little bits here and there. I think there are developments this week where you're starting to see the lines form.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's bound to happen. I
Yeah.
mean, it was clear though. There was a clear split. There's the four guys, the Pound Squad or what do they want to call them, that were the
Yeah.
originators,
Yeah.
and then you have Brittany, you have Michael, and then you have Taylor.
Right.
So if it really came down to it, and the split happened on how it was formed, Michael's gone next.
And
In reality,
I bring up Michael because he basically says, he's winning all these things. I mean, Kyle's won something, but I guess he was upset that Kyle and Joseph lasted to, second and third place on that board. And I guess he feels they're not really pulling their weight as far as, taking one for the team and keeping them up. But that was just kind of his opinion. I think he knows in his head who he wants to go with past the leftovers.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's her anymore. I think he's. I don't know. It's hard for me to tell. Based on this past week,
Yeah.
on how she was targeting one person, then
Yeah.
targeting another person, then targeting a third person, and there was no consensus amongst the alliance, and she was just. I mean, she even said being head of household is harder than I expected.
Right.
That's like be careful what you wish for type situation.
This is when Terrence checked in with her, and he's like, "Hey, do what you got to do, and just let me know, and I'll do, and just you got to take your shot." And in the diary room, she was like, "Yep, aiming right for you." She had it in her head. It was kind of a jumbled, messed up week as far as who the actual target was going to be, who was going to leave the house. It was kind of a toss up.
If someone would have taken her bag of Lay's potato chips, they would have been the target next. Who
That's
knows? I
true.
don't think she truly knew who her target was going in, and I
Yeah.
think after the end of the episode, when her target, the person got voted out, I don't even know if she knew that she was the actual target. She was so confused this whole week; it was almost this. It's kind of crazy.
Taylor does get swayed easily depending on who's talking to her. Like if you're the last one to be able to talk to Taylor, then you're in basically.
But do you think that's a personality thing? Do you think she's been hated on so much by this house that she's still just kind of wanting to be liked in a
Looking to
way?
be people please. Yeah, there might be
Yeah,
something there about that. Yeah. It's possible. But at the end of the day, her alliance is still intact. I mean, it's a successful HOH week.
yeah.
I think you can give it to her. She does end up putting uh, uh
Indian Terrence.
yes. Uh, the
I
people
mean, they're
probably
staring at us right in the face. If we can't figure out their
yes,
names by now, we're out of
Terrence
luck.
and Indy. Yes, Terrence and Indy. Well, I
Sweet
think
tea and Indy.
I can't I can't remember their names because like they've barely as all of the house guests they've probably been on the least amount of all the house guests. These
Oh,
two.
Indy, I'll remember in a heartbeat because she was the no, not most annoying. She was right underneath Jasmine.
Yeah,
But every time Indy was on the screen, I just I don't know. I had an aversion. I don't know. It may be mean to say, and if it is, yeah, I'm sorry, but I had an aversion to Indy. I don't know
I
why.
didn't like her little thing that she did where every time anybody talked about putting her on the block, she'd get real just upset about it. Like I would never do that to you. Like Indy, apparently you would if you were head of household, you wouldn't put anybody up for the block because
Yeah.
you keep
It
telling people how you would never do that to them. Like, come on, Indy.
The game is the game. You know the
Yeah,
game going in, and you can't be friends with everybody. And the
right.
likelihood of you avoiding the block altogether the whole way through is slim to none.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Um,
This
a,
group
s-
here, this
a
is
second
tripping. This is
alliance
funny.
forms. This is most of the five swatters, excluding Kyle. He's not pictured. But that's the thing. So that's a part of the reason why Michael is feeling such tension and where there's a split too, where he keeps talking about how Kyle and Joseph are kind of so buddy buddy with the opposite end of the house, right?
Yeah.
Where so much so that they find out that they're actually in this separate
Well,
alliance.
Joseph brought it to him.
Yeah,
Joseph
yeah.
came up there, me and Kyle were just kind of sitting here and we got sucked into this alliance with these 3 other women, and they named us the 5 swatters, and
The
it's
five
like he's
swatters.
getting the information and he's funneling it back. So I wouldn't question his allegiance, honestly. The only one I would question would be Kyle.
Oh yeah.
Kyle's the wild card. Kyle's the one that just Kyle, just
Oh
Kyle.
Cal. Cal, come on, Cal. But yeah, the five. So how awkward must it be when to sit there and know in your head like this is such a fake alliance, and you're giving false hope to these other people who are like, yeah, this is great for my game. This is going to take me all the way. Not
Okay, now
knowing that
see, I
you're.
would be the exact opposite. I'd be sucking this up.
Oh
I'd be
yeah,
having
I guess you
I
would
w-
be, would yeah.
I'm just that much of an ass that I would sell this wholehearted
Yeah.
and then go up and meet you up in the HOH room and say, dude, you won't believe the bullshit that I just went through. Check this out.
You would, and you would just be laughing your butt off. That's funny.
Say, no, I'm in the 5 swatters and you got the fly swatter. Something stupid for TV.
Joseph ends up talking to Taylor later. She's kind of bouncing off ideas with him, like, with the numbers, who do I end up putting up? It's just, tough. He actually volunteers, which, we were giving
I
Pooch a bunch of
thought,
crap.
dude, I was like, don't do it. You're
Yeah.
going to get pooched.
Yeah, I know. It didn't happen though, luckily.
No, I was like, thank God it didn't. They talked him down
Yeah.
because, like, don't volunteer to put yourself up. It has not worked at all this season. Every time you volunteer, you walk out the door because honestly, you're the bigger threat on the block. There's no
And
way you're
this
not.
this is the first week without a back door, I think. I think it's been a back door every single week so far in this season.
Well, there would have been if our
Right.
HOH got her way, but we'll
True.
get to that.
Yeah. Once again, just another bit of Brittany and Michael just kind of talking, like I said, it's something I already mentioned, just kind of reinforcing. This is kind of sprinkled throughout the week, them checking in with each other and being like, I don't know. The seeds are planted
Is
here
this
with
going unseen? Do people truly not see the actual bond these 2 have?
that's what it seems that way, right? I mean, that's what I was saying. Like these two might as well be a showmance with how close they are in the
Yeah.
house. But what makes them even more dangerous is that there is no showmance. Like it's all game all the time. And like that is so dangerous. And the rest of the house seems to be just totally ignorant about it.
This is like a Boogie and Will?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
And I
not gonna
mean,
put him at that level yet, but I mean, it has that feeling.
and the thing is, like, you could almost view this as like, well, Michael's the real game player, and Brittany's just kind of like the goat he's dragging along, like we've seen in past seasons or whatever. But I don't, Brittany's not a slouch either. When a push comes to shove, if it was a mental competition or something, I can see her pulling out a win here coming
And
up.
they've showed her sitting in, like, the bathroom area on the bench, kind of weaving her own little,
Her social game is pretty
conversation. Yeah.
strong. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so she doesn't have a strong, like, physical game,
Right.
but her social game is on point.
Yeah. This is the start of the veto competition. It's basically one of those ones that are like White Elephant or Bad Santa, where
Yeah.
you end up getting out and you pick a prize, and then whoever's out next gets to steal your prize, that kind of thing.
Well, the
Uh,
scoring on this one here, if you were smart, you're able to win. I mean, that's
right.
pretty much what it came down to. If you were just smart, you would win. And for the most part, I mean, I'll say 3/4 of this, group here playing weren't very smart.
Christina said they look like LOL dolls. I don't. You have a daughter. I don't know if she's into LOL dolls yet, but the way they're
I
dressed.
know of them, but I don't know of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if this counts as punk. I think they're a little too colorful to be punk. But,
Y
anyway, yeah, it's more like '80s hair band or something, I don't know.
Yes, that's better, yeah. I'll buy that more than punk.
Kinda merging into grunge a little bit with Terrence, but, yeah, so that's our group here playing for the veto. Um, we've got Taylor winning a nice prize of going to London, a
Or
nice all
so
expense
she
pays
thought.
Or so she thought, right? The nice all expenses paid trip to London. She was ecstatic about that until um
Oh,
this
Alyssa,
is this a move you would do?
absolutely not. I mean, come on. When she did that, I'm like, and the thing is, uh, Taylor warned everybody, you take this, I got control.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, she didn't say it that way, but she said it essentially, you take my trip, you better watch your back. And she, oh my God.
I think the only appropriate time to do something like this is when you are on the block yourself and you know there's a hell of a good chance you're going home. Like, then might as well get a consolation prize while you're going out the door, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And not only did she take her London trip, she gave her a punishment.
right. Yes, she did.
It's
Yeah.
like, my God.
Alyssa was lamenting about this to Kyle a little bit later in the episode, but and she thought after the fact that it was a pretty dumb idea, which it was. I mean, you can't. I don't know, and it gave Taylor ammunition later to want to get rid of her. But Kyle is the big winner, the veto this week, which fortunately for Alyssa, or else,
Very fortunately for Alyssa, because he was the only one that, his showmance,
yeah,
he wouldn't want to get rid of. But before we get much further, guys, if you are watching live, thanks so much for watching live. We love, live interaction. Uh, Comment if you like something that's going on. Let us know what you're thinking as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go over to the main page, check out what we got going on. We got a lot of content over there. Subscribe there as well. I mean, become a part of the community. I mean, we'd love to have you. We do a lot of other things outside of Big Brother, but it's just fun. I mean, it's fully interactive, but let's just keep on going and see what Kyle, so which head Kyle was thinking with when he decided to go ahead and use this veto or not.
well, Taylor's mad. You know, this is her upstairs being like, "Oh, I'm gonna get
Side
her."
note, real quick, what's going on with her shoulder?
I didn't know if that was some. At first, I thought, wait, is that like a Nicorette patch or something?
That's
Like
what I
something.
thought. Maybe a Nicorette patch, or I thought maybe it was a tattoo that she needed covered up, or something. But I don't remember seeing
I've
that
seen
before.
Band-Aids that big. I've had injuries on my knee and stuff before where I've used those. I think it's just a big Band-Aid. So I don't know if she's covering something up. It might just be something that she got during one of the competitions or something. I was wondering about that because it's pretty glaring. It's like, whoa, your eye
Yeah,
goes right to it. But so this is them later. This is Taylor trying to convince.
this whole conversation around the pool table was so awkward.
Yeah, like, look at Kyle. He's like, once again, you guys, and this is just seeding more of those division lines in the alliance, right? Like, this
Yeah.
is the second or third time where they're trying to get Kyle to do something he just flat out does not want to
But
do.
it's one of those things like Kyle is upset that Monty and Joseph are kind of always in the know.
Yeah,
And Joseph told him exactly what's going on and why he's not.
right.
He's laying in bed with Alyssa. If you're laying in bed with her and you're not up with the group, you're not going to be up with the newest stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah. And him getting upset and irritated about it was irritating me. It's like, dude, you're an idiot.
Alyssa leaving this game would be the best thing for his game,
She,
honestly.
she is, I'll put money on this. She is 100% manipulating him.
For
No
what?
doubt in my mind.
Oh,
Because
you
there's
don't think
already
she has genuine feelings for him?
no, her, no. Maybe because there's already been a slip up in something that came in earlier about her outside person.
Oh, well, see, I don't know anything. I don't know about that. She's all googly eyed to me. When I see her in the diary room, it's like, how can I stay mad at him? She's all like fluttering her eyes. Unless that's all an act. I don't know.
Man, I would not put it past her to think that's an act that she is. He's a means to an end.
Hmm. I don't look.
That I
It's
mean,
been a
that's
long
awfully
time.
cynical to think of, but
It's a long time since I've been in my early 20s, so I really can't get in that headspace. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you may be right. Who knows? But it's young love. Come on, it's Big Brother romance. It'll last forever.
okay.
Okay, so of course he decides not to use the veto. Like, duh. Well, why was it even? That's the thing. Is like they're really stretching out these storylines this this week, especially when we get to Thursday's episode where there was 2 hours for a lot of nothing.
Yeah, right. I mean, they could have fast forwarded that a little bit quicker than it was. But what do you think of a Taylor like going into the the pantry room and telling them to be quiet and kept exploding on them, yelling at them and
Oh,
walking
I
out.
forgot to snap that. Yeah, that was, it was a little much. I get her point of view as far as why she would wanna have others, because she was trying to basically save face in front of the other women in the house. She
Yeah,
told Alyssa, Jasmine straight up that she didn't want them to leave or whatever, and she wanted to hold that story, intact, but,
because
that
now
was
you're
just too
playing the
much.
jury house too.
Yeah, that's true. So, I understand and appreciate the sentiment behind it, but I don't know if the execution was,
It was a
very
little
good.
much.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Oh, so this is a point of the game where, Kyle's just been upset about how he's been treated in the leftovers. He wants to earn favor and get a spot. He's been kind of cozy with Michael and Brittany, uh, I would say over Monty and Joseph. I think Michael and Brittany have a better relationship with Kyle than they do with Monty and Joseph. But I think he's really trying to solidify that. Like, he needs to. I think he feels his place in the alliance, given his relationship with Alyssa, and he's trying to, you know, work some solid strings here.
If he was smart, he would keep with the 4 guys and get rid of Taylor, because
Yeah,
I feel like she's been the downfall of, and I don't wanna say downfall, because her game has been really strong since she's kinda made it through and they stood up for her.
yeah,
So she's come a long way in the game, but I think her game is hurting his game.
yeah, for sure. Well, I think this was a smart move. Honestly, this is
But
if
to
I
out
was
the
in his,
whole crew? I don't know if that was smart yet.
if I know, I think it what I think you need to earn favor with Michael and Brittany because he knows where the line's going to be, and he's kind of standing on either side of it. Like, I don't think he's their number one target. Michael's number one target. I don't think they're Monty's number one target. But as collectively as a whole, if the leftovers decide as a whole who to get rid of first, it's probably going to be him. So like he needs to like make sure that he's good with both sides of this thing, and when this
Yeah, he
thing
would be the bottom
fractures,
of the 4.
yeah, when this thing eventually fractures, he can dive onto whatever side seems to have the most power. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be hard telling. I mean, who's gonna be, I mean, you're gonna have Michael who's, a comp beast, for lack of a better way of saying it.
yeah, there's no doubt about it. Like Michael can win some competitions. So that's another thing that they were kind of talking about. So that's basically another example of some of the leftovers starting to fracture this week. Um, then we'll just go through some of these punishments that we got to
I
enjoy.
didn't even catch the Blink 182 reference.
Oh, Inked 182, yeah,
Yeah, I was sitting on the couch, I was like, 182? What's that? There's gotta be some significance in that. And then my white as hell wife, who grew up in country, Tennessee almost,
right.
it feels like, she's like, Blink 182. I'm like, oh my God. I could not help
Oh,
myself but give her a high five. I was like, I am proud of you for catching that reference because I didn't get it.
I would not like this. 182 of those temporary tattoos. Look how big they are too. Look how big that thing is. He puts
Yeah,
it
I
on
mean,
his
why did he
face.
put that on his face?
I don't know. I don't think it lasted because I don't think it was on the live show. I think it
No, there
ended
was a
up falling
piece
off.
of it like underneath his eye,
Yeah,
but the rest of it pretty much fell off. I mean, that was come on.
he
Now
seemed
what
to
I
love
would have
it.
done is I would have picked either my head or my arm and done a full sleeve rather than having him all over the place. I would
Right.
have made a full sleeve out of it, and it just tells me that he's got tats.
He
Unless they
does.
told him he had to have it through off his whole body. There
Oh,
may have
that
been
could
rules
just for
behind it they didn't tell
TV.
us.
Yeah, just for the visuals on TV, I guess. Make it look goofy and not good.
Yeah, yeah, right. Talking about
We've
goofy.
got Sid and Nancy or Skid and Fancy doing terrible, terrible accents the entire week.
Well, it was 48 hours. They had 2
Yeah,
days,
48 hours, right.
thank God it was only 48 hours because I couldn't take any more than that.
I hated listening to it, and they had to do it even when they were like upstairs with the leftovers talking about their plans for the following week and stuff. Like Joseph was still talking in his bad
Well, I
British
think
accent.
they had to. It was a part of
Yeah,
the punishment. No matter what the conversation was, they had to, do this, this terrible accent, the whole way out.
that was a punishment for everybody, I think.
Yeah, none of these punishments were punishments for the people, essentially. Outside of the tattoos, being up and doing them all at times of the night,
Yeah.
this punishment was people. I mean, they got to hear them do this.
Oh, Taylor loved
Uh,
this punishment. She was getting into the accent. She loved being chained up to Joseph. She loved it.
if she was smart, or I'll say smarter in this instance, rather than thinking about who she wants to be chained with, she should have went with Kyle or Alyssa and was split those two.
Oh, that would have been a move. Would that have been too obvious a move? Like, "Oh, well, I see exactly what she's doing there," or does it even matter at this point?
I don't think it matters at this point.
Yeah,
If she went with Kyle, I mean, she could have still parted off. I'm chained to a cute young guy.
right.
Alyssa would have been a little too on the nose.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Alyssa would have had a heck of a 48 hours, man.
That would have been something. Yeah, because she would have separated him from Kyle, and
Yeah,
that'd
"You
been
take my London vacation, I'm gonna take your man."
that is awesome.
Speaking of which, these 2 apparently, made things official this week. They're
Well,
officially
he was
boyfriend
trying
and
to break
girlfriend.
off with her, and she was like, "No," and she like bats her eyelashes at him, and then sucks him straight in.
Like a succubus, this woman. No,
No, I mean,
he's
dude,
all in too.
I can't blame the dude for 1 minute. If I'm there and she's looking at me like, Nope, I'm done."
So you
There,
lost this season, huh? You
yep, I
woulda
lost.
lost
You know what?
BB24. Um,
It'd have been over for me.
this needs to be dealt with in the house, though.
Yeah.
Like, they need to be split up for the sake of their individual games and for the sake of everybody's game. Like, showmances are just no mances, baby. I thought this was gonna be the season where we wouldn't get one, but we
I
finally
mean,
did.
oh God, I thought you were gonna say something else. Let's see them get some. No, I mean, why can't you just be friends with benefits in here? You don't have to be alliance. Just be happy and roll out.
I don't know. Friend rollout. Look at you. Um, Indy gets voted out. Once again, this is probably the longest and most unnecessary 2 hours. They basically took an hour's worth of content, stretched it over 2 hours. Even Indy leaving the house, Julie never gives these people time. She's like, "You have a minute to hug, say your goodbye, and you gotta get
Yeah,
out the
I was
door."
waiting for Julie to say something. Get her out of the flipping house. The more and more she talked, the more and more I was like, "Shut up and leave. You're gone. I'm tired of you. Bye. Don't let that door hit you in the ass on the way out." I mean, I was over it.
That's
She
how
was
much time
whining and
they had to fill,
crying.
man. They really had to stretch and fill time that Julie didn't even interrupt her. Yeah, just, talk to him and whatever you gotta say, just keep on saying it. Oh, woo, and I don't know what she was even saying.
I don't know either. I mean, she was just crying. Anytime she was nominated for something, if it was slop, if it was on the block, if it was anything didn't go her way,
Yeah.
she just whined and cried about it. I'm
She
like,
really played an emotional game, like, and leaning into, like, anger, like, that kind of emotion.
I
Like,
was
she
like,
got,
yeah,
feisty.
I was over her. I'm ready for her. There's a couple other, at least one other one I'm ready just to push out the door. And
Might
just actually
as well
let's
say,
start
who
playing the game.
else? Who else?
Jasmine. I am
Ah, yeah.
so over Jasmine, it's ridiculous. She hasn't played a lick in this game. I'm sorry,
She's
she sat down and won a head of a house competition that she stuck her face in something and pulled out letters.
and she's still hobbling, man. She's still hobbling around that
She's
house.
milking the hell out of that.
You
One
think
minute
so?
she's with a cane, next minute she's got a boot on, the next
Yeah.
minute she's in heels. Does anyone else find that fishy?
It is strange. It seems to fluctuate, like, how incapacitating it is. But I don't know. It's hard because, like, she does get better at, but it's also she's got to like be forced to like do these competitions where she might like aggravate it while it's trying to heal. I don't know. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, I totally understand what you're saying here. It seems
I
very
bet you she would be
inconsistent.
fine if she was chasing around a greased pig in the backyard.
Or frying them chicken wings in an air fryer or whatever. Whatever she said. You
Let's
look
move
better
on.
than chicken fried steak. Oh, when she told Julie this, or the eviction episode, Julie, you look better than a chicken fried steak. I was like, "Oh my god, Jasmine, come on." Chicken fried steak is
She's
not even
playing it
like
up now.
yeah, it's not even a food that looks good.
It tastes, good.
Tastes good, yeah.
Yummy. Oh, let's real quick. Let's talk about that. The punishment that actually Indy had. The getting
Oh,
up and had to play on the drums and sing. That was torture to the house at all hours of the night.
that was bad, yeah, the
Oh,
punishments. We had 2 full segments of punishments and, yeah, the whatever Punkatard, I think was the name of
Yeah,
it.
she was wearing a punkadar. She was the most, dressed she was been all season in
Yeah.
that thing. It was that by itself was crazy.
I always feel bad for the house guests that get the unitard punishment, and then they usually go out that week. It's funny how this has worked out in the past, but a lot of times, whatever house guest has to get the unitard punishment in the season is usually out that week, and they have to go out
I've
and meet Julie in it.
I've never noticed that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's kind of crazy. Okay, so now we're back in the house. Julie's already had her interview with Indy. We're here to reveal now what's going to happen this week. You and I thought it was going to be last week. It's going to be this upcoming week. It's going to be basically the house is going to be split into two. Five house guests on living on the inside, five house guests living on the outside of the house. Which I'm curious how the heck that's going to work. But we coulda had some of that. We coulda had the competition showing where we had one competition. We had the
They
head of
could have given us
household
an hour
competition.
for the eviction and then
Oh,
an
yeah.
hour for this, and we could have seen who the head of households were. We could have seen how the house was split, and then ended on that. But I don't know. It's not being produced well this year. I really
I
don't think it is.
That would have been really good TV to see however they go about choosing teams, you know what I mean? There's a lot of drama there, and I know they're saving it for the next episode, but
Don't give us
why
2 hours then.
why did you give us 2 hours? It had to be some kind of CBS scheduling thing, but you know that they have an upcoming 2-hour week, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just a
And
kind
that's
of
why I think originally it was all supposed to go down like that.
right.
And I think something took place. There had to have been some type of change, yeah, that happened that altered, the way the show was actually shot this week.
So here are two head of household winners for the week. We've got Michael, who won the ultimate prize, and because Terrence was able to last,
Terrence.
the second longest, Terrence is going to be the head of household for the outside. So yeah, these are our two head of households this week.
Michael again and Terrence. How do you think this is going to go down? How strategic are they going to be about picking the house? I think Michael for one, I think he's going to go if he gets first pick, he's going right to Brittany. He's going to have his solid number 2 next to him. And I think you got to have a solid 2. But Terrence is such a wild card. Does he have that number 2 that he can have standing with him to help him decide who's going out the house?
I actually do know how this shakes out. I'm trying to
Don't no,
remember.
no spoiler alert.
You want me to spoil it or no?
No,
Okay,
no.
I
I've
won't. I won't
I've
spoil it.
avoided it. I've been avoiding the live cast because I don't truly want to know.
I want to know, like, yeah, I want to watch it and see how this goes down. So I do know how it ultimately ended up for the picks, but it's going to be an interesting week. I mean, kind of crazy. Here's our cast once again. Indy is gone, and it's going to be fascinating to see how this split house week shakes out.
So we're gonna lose 2 this week.
Yeah,
So we have 2 head of households, 2 we're going home. Uh
two
man, so we're
veto
fat
ceremonies, two yeah, like
vetoes,
two sets of
2
nominations. It's gonna be crazy.
evictions. That's gonna be nuts. I'm actually looking forward to it. I like it when they fast forward the game sometimes in one
Yeah.
week and give us multiple things going on.
Well, they do the double eviction every year. Sometimes they even do a triple eviction, but it's basically all rushed in one night of live TV. This is kind of cool because we get to see the game play out instead of over 1 hour. It's a whole week of a double eviction
And they
kind of
split the
circumstance.
house. So there's really
Yeah.
the alliances can quite frankly be completely split because you can't rely on
Mhm.
those people because the majority of your alliance may be in another part of the house.
Yeah, and maybe this is the time to take a shot. So Michael's been talking all week about, hey, who do basically we talked about it this episode. The fractures are forming here in the leftovers.
Yeah.
Something may present itself where you have an opportunity to get somebody like Monty out of the house this week. And maybe you take the shot.
But do you take the shot and risk it? Because the house is coming back together and it's gonna be very clear what you did. It'll be different
Yeah,
if it was Terrence taking the shot
yeah,
and then them going along. Well, it's only gonna be 2 votes.
right.
I guess you can lie. You can say, I voted against it, but he broke the tie, and then it's your word against his. But
That's
that's risky.
that's the thing because you wouldn't be able to communicate that with the rest of the alliance. You'd have to like kind of backpedal and explain yourself after the fact,
Yeah.
which that can be tricky. Yeah, for sure.
So I mean, this is going to be interesting to see how this goes out. See if I mean, this season has been nothing about taking big targets out. Essentially, there's
Yeah.
been a few off weeks. like this week here, Indy wasn't a target. I mean, I don't think they were building her up to be bigger in competition wise than she truly was, in my opinion.
Yeah, as far as this week, it was kind of like game wise, nothing too major. I mean, Indy was kind of a foregone conclusion all week, and she her time was pretty limited coming up here. But really, it was just the status of the leftovers. How much longer can the 7-person alliance stay intact? And I
It
think
can't.
this
It's.
week is really going to put it to the test.
I think this is it. I think splitting it up, making them make these choices amongst themselves,
Hmm.
and I think you're going to see the guys separate. I think the four guys, and I think Taylor. I
Yeah,
think there'll be five of them. And those five. Well, Taylor's interesting because Taylor is attached to the hip of Joseph,
yeah, but she's also got that
but
thing with Michael and Brittany.
exactly.
Yeah,
So I'm like, where does she go? Is she positioning herself well to go longer in this game?
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know. There's some wild cards, and we're really not going to know what's going to take place until the infighting starts, and it's going to have to
It's
start
going to
happen
happen. I
soon.
can't wait. It's gonna be juicy. Once this, big alliance finally splits up and the drama that's gonna ensue, we got some good Big Brother heading our way, including this upcoming week. So we can't wait to join you guys again, after the double eviction or the 2 people eviction. Next week, we'll be back to talk about this very interesting week of Big Brother. Like Julie said, it's never happened in the 20 plus years of Big Brother, them doing this kind of thing. So it'll be very interesting how it shakes out. We'll be here to talk about it with you next week.
Yeah, so make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, join the community, and we will go ahead and we will see you guys next time. So, like Julie says, expect the unexpected.
See ya.